All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kwakadash. All right, that belongs to the elders and apostles, great mills from the well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to those for electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth. All right, with wholehearted sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your houses. All right, the title of this lesson is going to be, all right, when shit hits the fan, all right, these people won't survive. All right, when shit hits the fan, majority of people in Babylon aren't going to be able to survive, man. All right, because there's a lot of things that play a factor, all right, when all hell breaks loose in Babylon, the streets of Babylon, man, when martial laws implemented, all right, when Jacob's trouble pops off, man. All right, a lot of things are gonna, play a factor and show you why, majority of people are in Babylon and also throughout the world aren't going to be able to survive. All right, majority, mainly in Babylon. Okay, I got an article here I want to read. All right, it's a pretty lengthy article, but I just want to hit just the key main points of the article. All right, if anybody wants to read it, that's the title of the article, and the website is at the bottom right here. And if anybody wants to, read a full article on their own time. But this is was posted January 31st in 2021. And the title reads, "The reason why 90% will die after SHTF, which stands for shit hits the fan." All right, basically meaning, when all hell break loose, when it's like an apocalyptic type environment. All right, now there's 4 points throughout this article, and I'm going to basically hit every single point. You got the location, the lack of basics, the medical dependent, and lack of community. Okay, we're going to get straight into it. All right, I'm just going to read the first paragraph of each point. All right, this one right here is the location, and it reads, "Your place in proximity to the occurrence is a determinant of your initial rate of survival. With nearly 80% of individuals living in either a suburban or urban environment, many are dependent on the grid for survival. Those who live in the country like to say that those in the city are certainly going to perish. Bugging out of the city may indeed be your best response. However, living in a city is not a death sentence. Urban dwelling simply carries with it more competition for resources and a greater possibility of crowd chaos." All right, so even though you do live in a city, right, doesn't mean you're going, it's like this talk, like the article says, not an instant death sentence, but however, it's still gonna be a tougher challenge, man, right? Because at that point, in those cities, man, that's where you got all the shopping centers, the Walmarts, the Krogers, the Publix, and so on, man, the Targets, right? They have all these different resources, man. So you're gonna have, a lot of people, all right, looting, right, running to those places. Gonna be crowded. It's gonna be chaos. People gonna be trying to, get enough for them or just take stuff. It's gonna be all hell break loose because there's so much stuff there. So we're gonna just be, running to those places trying to get it. And not even to forget, right, the main cities have, the highways, the streets. They're gonna be packed up. So trying to use a car is gonna be virtually impossible, man. All right, so the people that's in the cities are going to have it way harder, man. A lot of people in those cities are going to end up perishing, going to end up dying because they're not going to be able to survive, whether they die from, someone putting in a death, lack of food, whatever the case may be, man. So the people in those cities are going to have it real hard out there, man. All right, because why? They don't know how to live off of the land, right? Like it says, you have people that live in those rural areas, man. So they don't know how to, the people that live in those cities don't know how to live off the land, don't know how to plant crops, don't know how to start a fire, don't know how to, purify, dirty water, right? Don't know how to do certain things, man. Fish, catch food, feed themselves. So they're going to end up having to go to these, different shopping centers, food stores, grocery stores to try to stock up. And it's going to be all hell break loose because you're going to have thousands on top of thousands of people, millions of people doing the same thing, trying to get into the stores. So you trying to get in there, man, it's going to be chaos, man. All right. I want to hit this point too. This is the next point, lack of basics. And it reads, "If the location doesn't immediately account for the death toll, people will lack the basics they need to survive, will succumb to their fate within the first week." All right, according to one recent study, in the last 12 months, roughly 20% of Americans, or about 52 million people, say they spent money preparing or spent money on survival materials. Many new people are beginning to prep, which is also great, but the odds of survival don't go up by merely spending a few dollars on survival products or extra food. Most Americans still believe that an emergency plan means setting aside money for an emergency. That might work in some situations, but if the dollar becomes worthless, so does their plan. All right, so that just goes to show you, man. We're seeing the collapse of the dollar, man. It's not having that same value in the times of Jacob Trouble, the times of martial law, times of all hell break loose, man. That paper currency is gonna mean nothing. People gonna be wiping their butts with $100 bill, man. And you see examples of this in different apocalyptic type movies. One, for example, is I Am Legend, right? Because when the main character Will Smith, he went to the bank, man. You seen the vault, it was full of money, right? It was full of money everywhere, right? And that's what it's gonna be like, man. You seen these different apocalyptic movies, money's just laying around, right? People using it as fuel to a fire to keep a little fire going, or whatever the case may be, man. But I just go to show you, man, that money is not gonna have no value in these times, man. And a lot of people don't have the basic needs that they need to survive, man. Like it says, the first week, a lot of people is gonna end up dying, man, because they don't know how to live off of the land. They don't know how to, feed themselves, right? Live without having to hold Daddy Esau's hand. Live without having to hold, these wicked devil's hand, man, right? Because they're so used to that instant gratification, instantly being able to get anything you need, just going to the store, getting what they need, Instacart, Uber Eats, and so on, delivery of food, right? They're so used to these things, but when these things are stripped away, these people are not going to be able to survive, man. Like I said, the first week, man, right? And it says, 20% of people, right, in Babylon are preparing themselves for these times, and that leaves the other 80% of people not preparing, not knowing what's about to happen, man. And that's why you have the many Halbashim outside, the highways and hedges, low and we are those men, blowing those spiritual trumpets, warning you people, warning our people of what's to come to Babylon, what's soon to come to the streets of Babylon, man. What's soon to happen to this place, man. But yet people don't take heed. They mock, they scoff, they threaten, and do all different types of things, but not take heed. But like the scripture says, then shall they know a prophet had been among them, right? So when they see all hell break loose, when they see the things that we've been warning these people about, warning our people about for years, and they see these things come to pass, they gonna know, like, oh snap, that guy that we were making fun of, that guy we thought was crazy, was telling us the truth, man. Right? And you also gonna see that in Amos 8 and 11, right? They're gonna be running to and fro, right? 8 and 11 verse 11, Amos the 8th chapter, verse 11 to 12. You're gonna see the people running to and fro, trying to find the many Yahweh Shemashah, trying to seek the truth, trying to find the knowledge, trying to seek the word of Yahweh Shemashah. But that famine of that word is gonna come, man. And you're already seeing a glimpse of that famine in the word. All right, you're seeing brothers' pages getting striked down, certain things you can't say, right? Certain brother pages getting deleted, man. So you're already seeing it's getting a little difficult as it is, because we're already having to use different wording when we are teaching, different wording when we're making our lessons, right? So you're seeing that precursor to that famine of that word, man. All right, so people aren't going to be able to survive out here without knowing the basic needs to survival in Babylon, man. All right, these people don't know how to do these things, man. Right? They're so used to the comfort that they get from Babylon, man. Once that is stripped away, because it will be stripped away, a lot of people are going to perish in these times. All right, let me hit the next topic. This is medical dependent. All right, and this one reads right here: like a herd has its weakness at the back, most likely to succumb to predators, people are similar. The medical dependent, those in need of elder care, and neonatal individuals are at an extremely high risk of succumbing within the first days, weeks, and months. If you require insulin, for instance, when the supply dries up and you are limited to just what you have on hand or can store up, the shelf life of that supply ranges from 14 to about 56 days. What then? Those in critical condition in hospitals or assisted living facilities will not get their needs met as supplies dwindle and staff are forced to look after their own first. All right, people are going to see these things happening, man. That's why it's important to have that knowledge of the herbs, man. It's important to have that knowledge of the herbs, because the Lord has given us these herbs as medicines, man. Because people that don't have the knowledge of these herbs, that's so dependent on these different concoctions and these different potions that they're getting from these devils, man. Once these things fade away, right, and they don't have the knowledge of the herbs, they're gonna be dead out here, man, right? Because it says people are gonna be succumbing, right? They're gonna be dying, right, within the first days, weeks, and months, man. But that just goes to show you the importance of having the knowledge of those herbs, man, because they have herbs out there that's good for the diabetes, that's good for diabetes, good if you got high blood pressure, good if you have a cold or whatever the case may be, right? They have herbs out there for everything, man. Lord giving us the herbs for medicine, right? So the herbs, having that proper knowledge of herbs is going to be vital in these times that we are coming into, man, right? And a lot of these people don't have that. They depend on what? The concoctions from these devils, right? That's why they're not going to be able to survive. Okay. Make the last topic right here. The last topic right here is a lack of community, and it reads, in the days, weeks, and months after a disaster, even more will die from a lack of community. Many fantasize about being a warlord in a dystopic post-catastrophic world where might makes right. While these are entertaining thoughts, perhaps they aren't very realistic. Lone wolf survivalists who live by the sword will die by the sword, as they say, is a community that keeps you alive. A network of family members or a network of neighbors, friends is essential for sharing resources, protection, and companionship. And with this paragraph right here, I agree and disagree with it, man, because mind you, like the scripture tells us, man, neighbor shall be against neighbor, right? You gonna have, your neighbor trying to put you to death for a loaf of bread, bottle of water, man. So you're not gonna really know who to truly trust out here, man. You're not gonna be able to trust everybody out here, man. But who you can trust with 100% certainty is brothers that's in this walk, brothers that's believing with you, brothers that's on the same boats, going through the same battle with you, man. Because in the times of trouble, man, your own neighbor could be trying to put you to death, trying to turn you in, whatever the case may be. Family, friends could be doing the same thing, man. But for a fact, brother that's in this walk, brother that's in this truth with you, right? Y'all on the same boat, and you can't trust them, man. All right, but that's going to show you the importance of having brotherhood, man. And it also talks about the lone wolf, people being out there by themselves, right? So people that's out there by themselves say that they're not in this truth, they're not in this knowledge, man. They it's gonna be harder for them out there, man. But I like to say this for brothers: even if you are going through Jacob's trouble, or all hell break loose and you're by yourself, man, you're not alone. Because why? You still have the Lord with you. You still have the angels watching over you. So you still have that hedge of protection, man. So you're not alone. Okay. I want to hit this last point right here on the conclusion, and reads the estimates of 90% of the population dying in the first year following a significant grid down disaster are probably accurate when considering location, lack of basics, medical dependence, and a person's lack of community. So, a lot of different things are going to play a part in, the downfall of a lot of people when, shit hits the fan in Babylon, right? That's why you have to seek the Lord and get right, man. All right, because, the men, the women, the children, the believers, the service of Yahweh Shemashah are going to be kept in these times. All right, I'm going to get straight into some of these precepts. This is Isaiah 33:6, and it reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength and salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? So it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time, right? So the knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures is what's going to be keeping, the service of Yahweh Shemashah sane in these times that we're coming into, man. Because a lot of these people out here, they don't have the wisdom and knowledge. They're going to be going mad out here. They're going to be going crazy. They're going to be committing all types of wicked crimes, committing murders, doing all types of wickedness, trying to survive, right? Because they're going to be panicking, going crazy out here. But the servants of Yahweh Shemashah are going to be stable in these times. Why? Because they're going to have the wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures. All right. This is Deuteronomy 24, chapter verse, 28, chapter verse 48. And it's actually a certain point that I wanted this, and it reads, Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, right? And it says in want of all things, and that's, ultimately part of the curses, because we go to these devils for the want of all things, right? You need a job, you gotta go to these devils. You need money, you gotta go to these devils. You need a place to stay, you need a housing, you gotta go to these devils. Food, whatever the case may be, clothing, you have to go to your enemies for the want of all things, man. And once that is stripped away, right? A lot of people aren't going to know how to survive without it, man, because it make you so dependent on them. It make you so dependent on these devils. So once these things are stripped away, you're gonna see a lot of people lose their sanity. A lot of people lose their what's the word, humanity, right? You're gonna see a lot of people lose their thought process, being able to be rational. They're gonna turn to having, animalistic type tendencies. All right, when that comfort is stripped away. This is Isaiah the 65th chapter verse 13 reads, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed." And that's what's going to happen, right? The servants of Yahweh Shai are going to be the ones eating, drinking, and rejoicing in these times that we're coming into, the times of martial law, the times of trouble, the times when all hell break loose in Babylon, right? In the streets of Babylon, right? It's going to be the servants of Yahweh Shai that's going to be able to eat. It's going to be able to drink. That's going to be rejoicing these times, while the other people, right, these other heathen people, the heathen nations, and the wicked 2/3 of our people, right, they're going to be starving. They're going to be thirsty. They're going to be sad and mourning, man. But the servants of Yahweh Shai are going to be in a way better spirit, because we're already seeing and we already know that these times are supposed to come, that these times were coming, and we're knowing that we're closer and closer to salvation. We're closer and closer, to the return of Yahweh Shai, to the return of Yahweh Shai, and to the proper return of how the planet Earth is supposed to be when it's ruled in righteousness. Okay. This is 2nd Esdras 9th chapter, verse 1, and it reads, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs path which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the highest spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." Right? So we're seeing earthquakes in diverse places, earthquakes in places that's not used to having earthquakes, so that's not supposed to have earthquakes. We're seeing earthquakes in different places. We're seeing uproars of the people, right? Especially when that whole crown world thing popped off, right? We were seeing uproars of the people. Okay, and prepare to see an increase in that as we progress in these latter times, right? We're also seeing famines, right? We're also seeing pestilences, wars, rumors of wars. So we're seeing all these different signs the Lord has given us to know, right, that we are coming to the end. All right, so in these times, man, this is the time more than ever to seek Yahweh Shai, because the doors of this spiritual ark is open, man. All right, but it's not going to be open for long. So you got to get aboard of this spiritual ark. Seek the Lord. He maybe find, repent, and get right with Yahweh Shai, because when shit hits the fan, right, when all hell break loose, majority of these people are gonna die because they don't know how to survive out here, man. All right, they don't know how to survive, and it's gonna be all hell break loose. All right, but hey, I'm gonna wrap up with that. I didn't want to make this lesson too long. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. With that being said, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kwakadash. That belongs to the elders and apostles of great millstone of well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to those elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, listening all to this truth with whole heart and sincerity. And until next time, shalom and a ball. Kwame Sharala.